The air in the small, cluttered newsroom was thick with the smell of old coffee and recycled air. Leo, a veteran journalist with ink-stained fingers and a weary heart, stared at the anonymous tip that had just landed in his encrypted inbox. It was a single, chilling sentence, followed by a name that sent a jolt through him: Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. For weeks, whispers had slithered through the back channels of public health forums and the darker corners of the internet. A new variant. Not measles, not even the Ebola they knew, but something born in the silent, steaming jungles, a chimera of unimaginable contagion and lethality. They called it Hemorrhagic Nexus. The official channels were mute, a silence more terrifying than any alarm. Leo's investigation became an obsession. He tracked down a terrified CDC whistleblower in a parking garage at midnight. The woman's eyes were hollow. "It's airborne," she whispered, the words hanging in the cold air like ghosts. "Fomite transmission lasts for weeks. The CFR, it's over 60%. The models, they're talking about tens of millions. It's not a matter of if, but when it breaches containment." The day the first confirmed case was reported in Atlanta, a traveler from Lagos who had infected an entire airport shuttle, the world held its breath. Then came the second in Chicago, the third in Seattle. The dam broke. Panic was a living thing, a virus of the mind that spread faster than the pathogen itself. Cities sealed themselves off, or tried to. Supermarkets were stormed, highways became parking lots of despair, and the eerie, quiet horror of empty streets was broken only by the distant, constant wail of sirens. And then there was the voice. Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., from his sprawling ranch, broadcast to millions. His face, etched with what his followers saw as righteous defiance and his detractors as dangerous delusion, filled screens. "A phantom," he boomed, his voice a familiar, gravelly instrument of doubt. "They're using fear to strip you of your liberty. Where are the bodies? Show me the bodies. This is a ploy by Big Pharma to sell a new, untested vaccine. Hemorrhagic Nexus is a fiction created to control you." His words were a match thrown into a tinderbox of fear and existing distrust. Protests erupted outside overwhelmed hospitals, where doctors and nurses in battered PPE pleaded for understanding. "Crisis actors," the crowds chanted. Vaccination sites were vandalized. Public health officials needed security details. The nation was cleaving in two, those who saw the overflowing morgue trucks and believed, and those who, clinging to a narrative of heroic resistance, chose not to. Leo embedded himself at Mercy General in St. Louis, a hospital on the front lines that had become a fortress. He saw the truth. He saw the young nurse, Sarah, holding the hand of a dying man as a fine, terrifying mist of blood escaped his lips with every cough. He saw the isolation tents in the parking lot, glowing like grim lanterns in the night. He saw the harried epidemiologist, Dr. Eris Thorne, collapse in a corner after a 36-hour shift, sobbing into his hands. "The denialism is the secondary pandemic," Thorne rasped to Leo. "It's fueling the spread. It's killing my nurses. It's killing us asterisk." Leo filed his story, a raw, unvarnished dispatch from the heart of the storm. It was published alongside a photo of Sarah, her face shield smeared, her eyes a universe of exhaustion. The response was bifurcated, a mirror of the national split. For some, it was a wake-up call. For others, it was proof of the media's complicity in the hoax. The death toll climbed, a grim, scrolling ticker on the news. 100,000, 1,000,000, 5,000,000. The system buckled. Kennedy's broadcasts grew more fervent, more isolated, even as reports leaked that his own compound was sealed tighter than a tomb, with a private, medically vetted staff. The climax came not with a bang, but with a quiet, personal failure of denial. Leo received a message. It was from a woman whose username he recognized from the most vehement anti-Nexus forums. Her avatar had been a meme of Kennedy with the words, standing for truth. Now, the message was just 3 lines. "My son is in a tent at Mercy General. His name is Eli. He's 7. Please tell me he's going to be okay." Leo found Eli. He was in Sarah's tent, small and still beneath a thermal blanket. Sarah just shook her head slowly, her eyes meeting Leo's over her mask. There were no words. He never replied to the mother. Some truths are too cruel to send through a screen. The story of the Great Nexus was not a story of a virus versus humanity. It was the story of humanity versus itself. The pathogen was a fact of biology, a terrible twist of RNA. But the millions who died did not just die from a fever that boiled their blood. They died in the chasm that opened between a terrifying reality and a comforting lie, a chasm widened by a voice that promised freedom but delivered only chaos and grief. The bodies, in the end, were everywhere. But for tens of millions, by the time they believed they were real, it was far, far too late.